What did a school teacher say that stuck with you? Have I been respectful to you? Me, well, yeah, are you being respectful to me? Simple words. They have guided me so much. I had a teacher say the same thing to me. Now I ref college and high school basketball and use this line whenever coaches start cursing me out on the sidelines. Does a good job of reminding them that kids are playing. Ended every class with "you're good people." My algebra teacher ends every class with "have a good day, be nice to people." Such a small thing, but it's sweet. Biology teacher, pointing at student, ugly bag of protein, full of water. I feel like this is a Star Trek TNG reference. You're a spoon in a knife block when asked why most of my friends were high achievers and I was only average. Ever tried to eat ice cream with a knife? You're useful in your own way, bro, keep it up. Edit, typo. I guess it was their way of telling you that soon you'll find your place and excel in that spot. First day off science class. Many of the topics I will be teaching you this year will likely be proven false throughout your life. I love teachers that are honest with students. Simply saying something like "you'll never need to know this but it's part of the exam so we have to" is so much more likely to get me to learn something than just saying it's important. Sounds like an ace teacher. I always enjoyed the teachers with real vision. Openly acknowledging a changing world really sets up your students up for better success by showing flexibility. I once asked my teacher something about the subject. And she said, "I don't know, but I'll do some research and get back to you tomorrow." I'm studying to be a teacher, and one of my teachers told us there is no shame in admitting to your students that you don't know something. However, you should look it up to answer it next time you see them and be prepared for the next time you get asked that. Excuse me, miss, this class on the effects of illegal substances is really interesting, but is it true marijuana makes you really hungry? I'm FB friends with several of my old teachers. I once wrote about how I had the recurring nightmare of being in my chemistry teacher's class and having to take an exam but not having studied for it. He replied saying that his recurring nightmare is my being in his class. He should have just sent you a study guide for one of his exams. Maximum sass. Totally feeling this now as a teacher. I know what it is to be young, but you don't know what it is to be old. I don't know why and how it came up, but our English teacher asked me if I understand that. It was the first year and I was 10, and I definitely did not understand. But it somehow stuck in my mind as the sound of the sentence, until I could decipher the memory in retrospect. As my dad said, I have been 17, you haven't been 50. A parental variation that I've said to my kids, when I seem confused, distracted, frustrated, or on edge, remember that I, as a parent, have to keep track of several people simultaneously, and provide for them, and I have to do that while anticipating the future and dealing with the consequences of the past. You, as a kid, are only responsible for yourself, for the most part. He said with rage, you used to be one of the good ones. A teacher said this to me, but instead he said with a tinge of sadness. Did he say this after he chopped off your legs and left you to die on Mustafa? He gave me this nickname. My friends still call me by Injo 15 years later. No way, are you called Benjamin as well? As you can see, mine was Bonjo. Don't bullshit the bullshitter. Mr. Bird, 2005. Also Mr. White. Once you're an adult, you choose your own fate. Your mom won't control you anymore. This came from a 9th grade Algebra 1 teacher who took the time to tutor me. My mom was / an anti-vaxxing, cult-following nutbag who didn't think school was important because Armageddon is coming. I was terrible at math until I met him. It's been 25 years and I think of this teacher still. I am grateful. Don't talk to mom anymore, she got tired of me asking where Armageddon was. Send him a letter if you can. Teachers like marking your homework as much as you like doing homework. Why I don't assign it anymore. More than half the kids don't do it, the rest copy it, and about 3 smart kids do it themselves and they don't really need to. So, just don't do the homework, makes life easier for everybody. Just get a fucking haircut. I kept complaining during PE that my hair was in my face. This was one of those teachers that felt more like one of the boys than the teacher. Blew my mind hearing him swear. We had a teacher like that who thought he was one of the boys. He ended up getting an ex-student pregnant once she left. He was in his late 50s while she was 19. In French class in high school, over 20 years ago, part of the lesson was going over some sentences in French. She pointed one out in particular: I go to school on the bus. My horrible attempt at typing it was something like Je viens à l'école en bus. I understand I've probably triggered people who speak French, I apologize. I remember vividly the teacher saying, for some reason, this is the only French any of my students ever remember after they're done with this class. Here I am, 2+ decades removed from that class in the 90s, and that's the only French I remember. Ah. Donde está la biblioteca for French? Apparently, the learning English equivalent is the book is on the table. I go to school on the bus. Trigger guy: Je vais à l'école en bus. Yours would be more: I come to school on a bus. After being caught smoking pot in high school, 1986. My science teacher, hi Mr. Fishbein, said to me, there is a time and place for everything, this is not the time, nor the place. He did not report me to administration. He was a great teacher. Professor Oak said the same thing when I tried to fish in the Pokemon Center. His name means fish leg. Final edit, y'all are stupid, listen to the native German speakers. My geometry teacher was super chill. He taught us to play poker and blackjack. On the last day of school he said, remember, if you ever need anything or have any questions while you're at this school, there are about 50 other teachers you should go to before you come to me. Edit, apparently all y'all's geometry teachers are either hooking up with another teacher or taught y'all how to gamble. My geometry teacher was too busy getting poked by my history teacher to care about us. I went from honors to support. What's with geometry teachers? Mine during a test would say, I need to leave for about 30 minutes. Make sure you don't come up here and look at the answer sheet sitting on my lectern. You have unlimited potential when you know how to find the first step. After many years of pressing through, I feel like this has essentially become my motto. I had only a concept before, but now I have the words. Thank you, stranger. This will be my answer to, what is something that a Redditor said that has stuck with you? A good mathematician is a lazy mathematician. As the lazier they are, the more time and effort they put into finding the easiest solution. Laziness is the driving force behind all innovation. Hard work only makes you tired. What do they call someone who graduated vet school with a 2.0 GPA? Doctor. My first-term anatomy professor, in vet school, telling us to stop fretting so much about the grades and worry about the knowledge. Edit, added clarification about what level of education this advice came from. My anatomy teacher was a cool dude. He'd give us little tidbits of advice before each test, ranging from always put your shopping cart away to you don't have to be 100% okay 100% of the time, and that's 100% okay, 100% of the time. He's definitely one of the best teachers I've had. My dad's a doctor and he told me almost the same quote. He said, what do they call the person who finished last in their class at med school? Doctor. Nothing is hard but nothing is easy. My sushi chef. Good, now cook rice for 6 years. One time one of my elective classes was just kind of chilling out the day before winter break and the teacher decided to arrange all our desks in a circle. He had everyone anonymously write something that was troubling them at the moment and he would go through and give some advice. I wrote about my parents' constant fighting and how I feared their inevitable divorce and the possibility of moving across country with my mother. I wish I could remember what he said, but I vividly remember almost crying because what he said hit so hard, but I kept it together. Less than a month later, both things happened. Lamau. They may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Being wise is better than being smart. I held on to that right up till receiving my PhD. Now that I'm entrenched in the corporate world of merciless exploitation, I've realized being smart about life is really a subset of being wise. I like this. Also, you always get outsmarted by someone, eventually. If you're not merely surviving, life doesn't have to be a competition or a race. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.